Hello, everybody. Welcome to the TSANet May 2026 plan update. I'm going to take you through the latest on the May update. So to just kind of frame the update, everything now is related around our TSANet Connect partner collaboration platform. You kind of see the building blocks here. We have the TSANet Connect system itself. But then we also have it supported by our partner framework as well as our community. So these kind of things help create some structure and as far as how members use the Connect platform. And of course, we leverage the membership to kind of drive the innovation forward. So if we look at the Connect platform, we do have three different ways of interacting with it. So of course, we have the web app. A lot of members use that. That's kind of the simple method, no IT required, does support single sign-on, and it is full featured. So it does the exact same thing that the connectors do. So I think that's kind of one thing that I try to stress to members that are integrating is that you're not leaving the web app members behind. Everything still works with all the other connectors, whether they're TSANet designed, custom built, or members are just using the web app. Everyone is still able to create bidirectional cases, update them, add notes, attachments. It all works seamlessly. So then if we look at the TSANet connectors, we have two that are already developed. That's Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics. I'll give an update on ServiceNow. That'll be the next one that we're building. Those are developed by TSANet. Those are considered reference integrations, and they're fully supported by TSANet. Then we have a third grouping, and that is the community integrations. For that, we are really assisting members in integrating to their platform. So providing developer support, providing API documentation, sample code, whatever assistance that we can to get the systems integrated that maybe we aren't creating connectors for. So it's kind of high level update there. If we look at Connect 3.0, and that's the generation that we're working on now, and Connect 3.0, just to give you a sense, it will go from 2026 through the end of 2027. So there's quite a few features and things we're planning to do there. This is just kind of a snapshot. We broke it down into the four functional areas. These are kind of where the stakeholders are coming from. Obviously, the members that have already integrated have been giving us feedback and things that they want to see. So things like real-time updates with webhooks, integrated escalation process, things like that for members that have already integrated. Then we have partner managers, and a lot of that is around really simplifying how we add partners. And I think the second and probably more important is once we do see members integrated, it starts to uncover different use cases. So solution support, OEM support, maybe historically those were being done some other way, certainly not through TSANet. But once they see the integration and how it works, the members tend to want to pull those things in. And then we have service providers. That is where the ServiceNow connector is coming from. And then, of course, developers. This is this whole community integrations piece that we're talking about. And if you look at our overall theme for 2026 and 27, it is really to integrate more members and, of course, kind of improve operations. So those things you'll see continuing kind of throughout the different releases as well. So a lot of focus on those two areas. If we look then a little bit at what's happened so far this year, I won't spend a lot of time on some of these because we went over this on the last update, but we did have a February release that was 100% focused on just architecture. So a lot of upgrades around technologies, our hosting environments, how we're monitoring the system. So all of those things really kind of bringing it up to be able to support the features that we want to implement in Connect 3.0 and really kind of improve the performance and stability of the overall platform. So that was the February release. Then if we take a look at the March release, this was the first release where you started to see some 3.0 features. And the big one for March was the webhooks. So that was added to the API. Microsoft Dynamics was the first one to take that into use. And the other big thing that we had for this release was moving to what we call a second generation Salesforce package. So without going into the details around Salesforce, they changed how they did manage packages. This kind of second generation brought a lot of improvements, and that's really the direction that Salesforce is going. It's required for their security review, so we've really took the effort to move that all over to the second generation package. So that is the March release. Then we just finished the May release. That happened last week. The big thing there was Salesforce, now version 2.11, supporting webhooks. So now we've got all the connectors supporting webhooks. And again, the big functionality there is the instant updates. So before you had to kind of wait for the polling intervals, now you see notes immediately, new cases immediately, all of the stuff just acting much faster without the polling. We did some API enhancements. We did some things here with sovereign support. And of course, we've continued to kind of listen to members and fix any issues that they're reporting. And then we did some things as far as the operations monitoring. So implemented some things within Cloudflare, and then Hot IO is another thing we implemented to kind of monitor the back end. So those are things for the May release. If we look at the integrated member status, I'm just going to kind of walk you through each of these areas. So we have Salesforce. That is the lead package. And again, it's TSANet developed and supported. It is our lead connector. We have 9 members that are either live or in the process of going live. So it kind of gives you a sense of where we're at with that. Microsoft Dynamics, again, that's TSANet developed and supported. That is our second connector that we built. And we have 3 members that are in process for go live. So no one live yet, but we're in the process for go live, certainly with a couple big members. I'm assuming you can guess who those names are. And then ServiceNow will be our third connector. And again, that will be exactly like Salesforce and Dynamics. TSANet will develop it and support it. Our development will start in August. And again, that the big push there is to allow us to get into the service provider space. We do know that there is some technology vendors that use ServiceNow as well. So we've got a few that we hope to participate with in kind of that early development. And then for community integrations, and again, these are ones that are outside of the 3 connectors we're talking about. So this is where members are leveraging our APIs. It tends to be code development. And we have actually 9 members that are either live or in the process of going live in community integrations. So we're starting to see some uptick in that area. And as I indicated, integrating members is our top priority. And as we're starting to see some more community integrations, we wanted to make some changes in that space. So if you look at our current state for community integrations, we really focused on the very large projects. So we are very selective in who we allowed access to the API and development, and we put these high touch projects in place. Cisco and Oracle are kind of the top ones. And then we started, I would say in the last couple of months, allowing others access to the API. But again, a lot of this was a bit tactical, not really designed for reuse. So in general, the approach that we have currently is not very scalable. So we're making some changes there. We brought in Sean Ray to lead this area. Very deep history in TSANet, very competent in this kind of area of developer support, integrations, all of that. So he was going to be kind of leading how we move forward with community integrations. But already we've seen things like, hey, we need to improve the API to allow for these very lightweight integrations, things that preferably don't require developer resources, right? So kind of things that IT folks could do. So enhancing the webhooks, adding OAuth, so a few things that are kind of missing to our API that allow people to kind of naturally integrate them into their systems. And then providing developer tools. So we have a Java app that's in development, and then he's going to be creating an AI agent skill around how you use our API and how you develop. And we are planning on designing these integrations for reuse. So for example, the first one that we're working on is Zendesk. So the idea is, yes, we work very closely with some members to create that, but in the end, it results in something that other members could use. So making that available to members. And again, that might not be every system we run into, but the big ones like the Zendesk, the Jira, things that people commonly use would be something that we provide there. So big welcome to Sean to head up that area. So then moving on to the technology committee. So one of the things that we did for Connect 2.0 several years ago was put a technology committee in place to help guide what the members wanted the Connect 2 platform to do. And that really resulted in everything you saw over the last couple of years, with us creating the integration framework, creating the connectors, kind of getting us to the point where we are now. So we have a new committee in place. You can see the companies that are represented here. So a lot of these are already integrated or are in the process of being integrated. So that was kind of one of the criteria. And then, of course, their charter is to work very closely with the development teams, making sure that what we're building will meet the requirements, they're practical, scalable, and really kind of aligned to how members operate in production. So one of the things that is, I would say, really important to us as a member-driven organization, versus maybe a startup that's we don't get ahead of our members. So we kind of listen to where they're at, where they're going, and develop things that meet their needs. So try not to do things that maybe don't fit what members are looking for. So that's a technology committee. One of the first things that we did then as part of that committee was kind of define what were the main features that were part of Connect 3.0, and I brought this into the first focus group meeting, in fact, two. So we had the US and Europe give us some feedback on what was the priority of the various features. So again, kind of scale 1 to 4 here, you get a little bit of sense of what these things are. And I'll kind of walk through a little bit what they are. But I think as you kind of follow on here for the rest of the year, you'll get a little more details on these. OAuth 2, I think, is kind of self-explanatory. That's the authentication method that everybody wants to see. It's kind of the standard, and you can see that was by far the biggest priority. So everybody's looking for that. This end-to-end acknowledgement. So today, if you look at how the system works, you have end-to-end acknowledgement for a request, right? And you get that through the fact that you initiate a request and there has to be a response that comes back to kind of close the connection. We monitor that, we monitor SLAs, so that part is pretty solid. But what we don't have is if a member sends a note into the platform, did it actually get delivered to the other endpoint? So of course, there's some pieces of the puzzle here that the other endpoint could be down, what have you. So the end-to-end acknowledgement would provide that feedback on if an endpoint is down and your note didn't reach that endpoint. So that's something that's a little more complicated to get in place, but you can see here the members felt that it was a high priority, so we'll be starting to take a look at that. The AI outbound, that acronym stands for Next Best Action. So this is a scenario where an engineer, for example, is inside of Salesforce and the system prompts them to collaborate with X members. So maybe it's part of an OEM or a solution support, or just maybe the AI within the CRM system identifies that you're collaborating or you're working on an issue with a member, right? So this is trying to kind of get the usage up, get the members to see opportunities for collaboration where maybe they're not doing it today. So interesting, that had a fairly high priority as well. integrated escalation. So this is now moving into an escalation process that is integrated in the receiving member system. So today, the escalation process, if you're familiar with it, it's kind of a text-based. If the SLA, isn't met, do this. If you're not happy with the collaboration, contact this person. So this would be similar to what you see today with members extending to their web portals, right, where you can do an escalation right there from the web. So this is something that that has a fairly high priority as well. And then sovereign support, that is a very hot topic right now. You can see that has a high priority as well. And then a few of these other ones, the Java app tool, the ServiceNow, obviously they're important. Probably part of the feedback you're seeing here, some of the members that have provided the feedback maybe aren't on those systems. So so that might be why they're a little bit low. And then the ones that I think are probably going to fall off a little bit as far as what we do this year is the AI inbound and simplifying the outbound. Those will probably be things that we continue to look at. AI inbound, just so you know, really doesn't require any development on TSANet Connect. This is really just leveraging your AI to do some responses on a request. So we saw some great best practices during the April meeting that Cisco was showing. That, of course, work through TSANet Connect as well. So some of this AI inbound is just really going to be documenting exactly what members are doing, kind of looking at how they're doing it, and then that might be something we look at in 2027. And same with the simplified outbound. Again, this tends to be, can we simplify how we're doing outbound? So today, you search for a member, it builds this very custom form. Sometimes there's custom fields on there and data that's required. In some systems, might not have the capability of on the fly creating those custom forms. So I think this is where we're kind of looking at simplifying the outbound towards more kind of a chat type experience, right? You send a payload in and it starts asking you for some of the missing pieces of information. So that's something, again, fairly low priority, at least for this year. But I do see that's something for next year. Okay, so now if you take a look at the July release. So the July release, the scope is set. The big feature there is OAuth 2, client credentials flow. That's just started. What we're hoping to do is be able to have some stuff to show maybe around middle of June to start to get some feedback from the technology committee. We also have OEM use case improvements, some of that coming from IBM, specifically looking at passing the endpoint case status back. So in some cases that might trigger an action for the submitting member. And then looking at enhancing some of our webhooks, some of that to do with authentication, maybe a couple more webhook endpoints. But in general, this enhanced webhooks tends to do with the custom integration. That's a very common area of trying to kind of leverage integrating into other systems. And then for sovereign support, we kind of have the next step there. So we did some tactical stuff for the May release, which was to lock down the web app. So for the July release, it is to expose the inbound process name so that shows up within Salesforce and the other systems, because that may drive some business logic, right? So obviously with sovereign support, it's, hey, this needs to go to this specialized team. So making sure there's a very clean way of identifying those and making sure the target systems can define their business logic based on it. And then as far as community integration, we do plan, like I said, we're doing the Zendesk. We're hoping might not be part of the July release, but we should have all the pieces of puzzle to kind of continue that development and get that finished shortly after. And then again, we've been building on this Java app, we do see that maybe enhancing through the months here. And then, of course, other improvements and fixes that that members have submitted over the past month or so. So that is the July release. We'll be providing some updates, but we're looking at probably the second or third week in July to get that out. So then moving on to the technology partner framework, as I kind of showed from that first slide, these are kind of the building blocks, right? So we have the technology partner framework, but then we also have the member feedback loop. So the technology partner framework, this is something that we put together a couple years ago, and I would say it's really helped in communicating with members, especially once they get integrated. So I think the classic TSANet everybody associated with is on this kind of bottom tier, right? So the common customer piece, that's how it all started. This kind of common customer collaboration piece, we call it collaborative support. So it is bidirectional. Both endpoints are entitling the customer. It tends to be low frequency and tends to be kind of these complex issues. And that also, in addition to common customer, fits the model for what we call certified integration. So we have a lot of elite members that have brought their certified partner programs onto TSANet. So Red Hat Connect, Nutanix Elevate, those are some examples. There's a few more, VMware, TAP. So these tend to be 200-300 partners, right, that they're bringing on. And these partners are creating integrations. And of course, they largely work, but when they don't work, you need to collaborate. So we see that in kind of the bottom piece. Obviously, the web app works fine for that. So a lot of these members are kind of on the web app side, and that's kind of how they see and maybe have defined what TSANet does and doesn't do. Once you integrate, it does open up the top part of these partner frameworks. So specifically, solution support and OEM support becomes available. And it becomes available because it's tightly integrated into your system. So you can support all the business rules and things that you want to define around that. So for solution support, it tends to be defined on what the directions are. So in some cases, it is still bi-directional, but some cases it's this customer or this member takes the first level of support and they're just escalating issues downstream. So you can be very, very flexible on how that works. You usually have very streamlined entitlement. So this could be designed for high confidence as far as collaboration. It might even include what we call bypass entitlement. So of course, these members have a much stronger trust relationship. They built a solution, they're co-marketing it. So they try to design this to where there's not a lot of failed collaboration requests. And of course, you can do things like warm transfer escalations, things that you normally wouldn't do on the collaborative support. So collaborative support kind of has one way of working. Solution support, you can kind of define what's necessary for that particular solution or OEM model. So that is the partner framework. If we look at what we're doing with the partner framework in 2026, the big thing is implementing these solution and OEM support models with elite members. So we do have a few that are in place now. We've got quite a few more that we're working on. And again, these tend to require the integrated piece being in place first. We are also starting early access for service providers. And we also took a step to really kind of improve how limited members interact with TSANet. So we had some new policies there, some easier ways of working. There's going to be an enhanced integration support model in there as well. So some things trying to bring some additional value to limited members. And if we look in 2026, in the second half, we start to build the offering. We start to look at the Connect 3.0 features that maybe are specific to partner managers, and start to really look at some of the best practices here. And the other thing that I probably should put under this piece, specifically with the service providers, is obviously the ServiceNow connector. That would be part of that. So that is our partner framework. And the big thing on the bottom here is obviously continuing to add these partner programs. So whether they're certified partner programs, solution partner programs, both are valid. In fact, we've got some members that are doing both. So then last but not least, spending a bit of time here on that third area. So obviously TSANet is very reliant on members providing feedback, and this is where we really push for members to be involved. So I kind of put these items in place here. Again, I would say the number one thing that we are pushing everyone on is plan for integration. So I think this is something that is coming. Some members are already integrated. We're very focused on the elites, so I think that's where a lot of activity is, but we really want to start extending this out to the rest of the membership as well. So I would say if you're not integrated yet, start to think about the integration piece, and of course, reach out to us if you want to get moving on that. And then number two, and obviously this is maybe very tightly linked to the integration. So looking at solution OEM and service provider use cases. So I think this, thinking about the new TSANet versus the old TSANet is these very much are within scope of TSANet now, versus in the past, very difficult maybe to do this on just a web app. So once you get integrated, it really opens up these other use cases. Number three, you guys are doing it right now. Obviously, attend these update webinars. We do them every quarter, so there'll be another one coming up here as we're kind of getting the September timeframe. And then the fourth one is attending the regional focus group. So we just finished all the spring ones. Actually, there's one more coming in June for India. But there's a link here where you can go and see when the upcoming meetings are. And they do have both in-person and remote attendance. So this is, obviously with the webinars, you're getting kind of the information on, hey, here's the latest and greatest, and you're getting that in a 30-minute period. But the regional focus groups, this is your opportunity to network with other members, give us much deeper feedback, and really get much more involved in TSANet.